Hey everybody, Zee Garcia here, and today we're putting together a crew and going on some heists in Bad Company. Bad Company here is a game in which each player is going to have a spread of characters in front of them, numbered 1 through 12, and then you are going to be rolling dice, making combinations of those dice, and triggering your characters in order to fulfill heists, in order to run away from the police, and do a few other things, trying, of course, to get the most victory points. So let's go ahead and take a look at how it works, show you on the table, we'll come back up here, and I'll tell you what I think of it. So here's what the game looks like, set up, ready to begin. We're looking at the area for one player, which is this, my gang of characters here, and then the two boards set up. A couple of these that have been drafted, which I've already skipped that step, so these are the two I ended up with, and then some new ones to replenish there. Now, the players take a random, two random halves of boards here and put them together to create their gang. So I'm the lucky 11, but of course you might, from these other random ones, maybe I would have taken this one, and then that would have been here. That's the lucky ninjas, and that's true for both halves of the game. The difference is some of the symbols are in different places. The character artwork, of course, will be different. So, how does the game work? What are we trying to do? Well, I'm trying to complete these heists here in order to get victory points. There's a victory point track right there. I'm also trying to advance my character, you see the character there, to these places, spending money to do that and upgrading these people. I'm actually replacing them, but in essence, they are getting better. And then I'm also trying to stay ahead of the police car right here, okay? We each have one of these cars in this spot there, and you're trying to stay ahead of them. And you'll get things as you go down the track on that board as well. So what does a typical turn look like? Well, there's 3 steps. The first one, roll dice. These dice right here, if you are the active player. Second step, activate gang members. Everybody gets to do this. And then third and final step is just an end of turn step in which a couple of things are going to happen, okay? So let's say I'm the active player. I'm going to pick up all these dice and I'm going to roll them. Once I've done that, I'm allowed to spend coins to re-roll dice. Once I've done that, if I choose to do it, I'm going to make 2 pairs with these dice right here. So I could, for example, say my numbers are 9 and 7. And then I am going to activate my 9 character and my 7 character, okay? This die here will be for the police car to move up, so we'll come back to that one. So let's say that's what I do. I'll be able to activate both of those. The number 7 here gives me 2 coins, is listed right there. So I'll grab them from the pool and add them to my amount of money. And then this one has a symbol. It's a little mask symbol. And there's a few different symbols throughout. They all show up on heists. So to do that, to utilize that, I'll take a little check mark token and put it on any one of the masks on, something I'm working on. So I could put it right there, okay? I could also put it over here on the mask symbols here, and you see the masks, those, and then these 2 with the flashlights and the locks, okay? But I can go right onto there, and then every other player now is able to use one of the 2 combinations I roll. So on your own turn, you use both. On anybody else's turn, you use one of them. And that's it. That's all I do. So that is activating my gang members. I can also, on this turn, if I had activated somebody that has the wheel, the steering wheel, I could move my car up. If it crosses a threshold, I'll get that thing. I could get money, or I could get these loot cards from this deck right here. And they'll give me more money or more symbols or the ability to activate different people than what was rolled, that sort of thing. And I can also spend money to move up my character. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now, okay? So the next step is 3 coins, is listed right there. Let's say I'm playing blue. I'm going to take blue. So I spend 3 coins, taking 1 back, and I am going to move up to the next step. From this deck, I will draw 3 cards, and I am going to keep 1. So let's take a look at what we've got. We've got here 3 characters. They each have their own symbol down here in the corner. They've got the number they'll be activated with, and they might have victory points. The 10 can only go on this 10. This other 10, obviously same place. or this 9. So I'm going to go ahead and take this one here. Let me just scoot this over. You add it right there. You'll see the artwork lines up. They do get, hilariously taller and taller. These 2 are done. And now, next time I activate this 10, I'm going to get the flashlight and that hand symbol or glove or whatever that is. So that's one way in which you're going to change your people out, and also they get better, right? Activating this now gives me 2 things. And that's basically it. Then we go to the final step, end of turn, in which we are going to move the police car. It's going to move 1 step, so it goes to there. We are going to take new heists. If you completed one of these, you'll take a new one from over here and give yourself another active heist. And then we check if the end of the game is triggered, which is going to happen when someone has a certain number of these completed. Once you complete this, you scoot it down here. So once you've got 6 completed, or if any car has made it into this red area, then there's one final turn and then the game is over, okay? So that's how that works. Now, throughout various roles here, now the next player would go, I am going to continue working on these heists, and eventually I'll complete one. When I complete one, I'll take these points, anything in that purple background is end of game stuff, so I'll take those at the end of the game. I would flip this over. You see the symbols are gone, but these gems at the top remain. I'll move that down here, just put it there. And now, if I am, during the end of round, I am going to check if I have the most of a symbol across the things I've completed. Gems, in this case, let's say I have the most with 2 gems. I'm going to take the matching necklace. There's a gem one and one for paintings, one for bags of money. And I'm going to give that necklace to someone in my display. I'm going to give it to this guy right here. That means as soon as I take it, I'm going to get a point. And then every time I activate this character while I still have that necklace, I get a point as well. End of game, having necklaces is also a couple of victory points, 2 victory points, all right? So that's what those do. They are going to make someone slightly better for, while you have them, but you might lose them if someone else has more of something than you do. And then again, at the end, I would take a new one of these, and this continues round over round. Now, some of the cards have abilities that they give you once you complete them, such as this one. As soon as I complete this, I would draw one of these cards. I complete it, I flip it over, and I grab one of these. This one lets me, when I'm choosing to activate someone, I can activate a neighbor instead. So if, my opponent rolled, and they gave me, let's say, a 10 and a 6. I can choose to discard this and say, I'm going to use the 6 as a 7 and activate this guy right here. Yeah? So that's what those do. And some of the abilities, instead of being one-time abilities like that, are end-of-game abilities, like this one. This one says, at the end of the game, I'm going to get 5 victory points if I have at least 7 or more of these upgrade cards in my display. If I've done that 7 times or more, I'm going to get those victory points. End of game scoring, which happens, like I said, in one of 2 ways, is going to be any of these cards that are showing, necklaces, as I said, and then you'll score up the completed heists. If you're ahead of the cop, you are going to, rather, if you're behind the cop, you're going to lose some victory points, and then if you made any of these at the end, you would have scored those, and a couple of other things that are going to score, right? Some of the different abilities on the cards. That's generally it. That's what you're doing. You're rolling dice on your turn, triggering characters, improving them, running away from the car, staying ahead, getting those bonuses, upgrading over here, and completing these heists, trying to be the one to control these necklaces. A lot of little things going on, but very quick little loops, quick turns in the game. One final thing I want to talk about is if you roll a 2 or you roll a 12, and those are the same for every player, okay? The 12 here lets you drive twice, and the 2 lets you pick one of those symbols. It can be the lock or the glove or the mask, and you get as many of these check marks as the amount of those that you have showing, and they can only go on that kind of thing. Also, if you ever get tokens, because you activate, say, a lock, and I have no locks here, there's also these places where you can put check marks there, and once you have 2, then they translate into something else. You can cash them in, and they translate into a driving symbol, one of the loot cards, a check mark on anything, or 2 coins. All right? So there you go. That's how the game works. The best part is seeing the artwork on these people, I have to say. It's pretty hilarious stuff in here. Look at this guy. Straight up wizard is robbing a place. There you go, everybody. That's it. Let's go ahead and go back up top. Let me tell you what I think of it. So that is Bad Company, and I got to tell you right up front, aside from a couple of small, tiny, nitpicks I have with the game, it is fantastic, and I really like it. I think this game is so fun. It's just kind of pure joy is what this game gives me, and I really, really had a fantastic time with it. So let's go ahead and talk about those 2 minor issues I had, all right? And they fall under the category of ease of play and then tactics, luck, and strategy. So I'll start with ease of play. And by the way, these are all still getting pluses. They're thumbs up from me. These are just, again, minor things I want to mention. My one little issue with ease of play is that the turn order in the game can be a little bit messy. What I mean by that is some of the phases and some of the things in which you do in the game have to be done in order. For example, if you complete a heist, multiple players complete heists, you need to take a new one. You will do that in turn order, okay? But many of the things in the game are not in turn order. When I activate my people, if I want to hire someone new, I spend my coins, I grab 3 cards from the deck, I pick one of those. It doesn't matter the order in which you do that. And so you have to be careful you don't sort of fall out of, at some point you need to be done, make sure that everybody's done, okay, we can move on. Okay, let's move the cop car, let's replenish our contracts. It's a minor thing, but it's something to be aware of. And then everything else I like, the ease of play is good other than that. And then tactics, luck, and strategy. I think the game has a lot to think about. Every turn I'm invested. Every turn I have something I want to do. And I can do with what I'm given. My only minor thing is, I think the penalty, victory point-wise, for being behind the cop car feels a little toothless. Where you are in relation to the cop car doesn't mean anything at all throughout the entirety of the game. It's only at the very end of the game. If you are behind the cops, you lose 3 points. That's it. If you're ahead of them, you don't gain anything. There is a special card that if you complete that heist, you'll get some points for being ahead of the cops. But if you don't have that, then it's nothing, okay? And it just feels a little, like I said, a little toothless. It's a big part. It feels like a big part of the game, but it's really not, ultimately. Still, the tactics, the engagement, the ability to hire new people and complete heists and race fast and upgrade, all these things are engaging and fun and highly tactical. Going back up to the top, the theme. I find it hilarious. I think it's so fun. It's handled with such a great amount of humor and joy and silliness. I really like the theme here. This is a world with these goofy characters that I really enjoy spending time in. The aesthetics, just wonderful. I like the artwork quite a bit. I think, like I said, it's one of my favorite things in the game, is grabbing those 3 cards and seeing these silly people, this sort of cartoony, wonderful characters that I might employ and add on to my crew. Tons of different artwork in here, and everything is just well made. Everything seems to have, the designers seem to have gone the extra mile to add humor and joy to every part of this. Even something as inconsequential as building your original crew. There's those 2 words, and you put them together, and that's your band name, right? That's really fun. So I like the aesthetics quite a bit. Replay value. There's plenty to do, like I said, on every turn. Things will go differently based on the dice, based on what things come up, based on the way you manipulate what's happening. The game is always fun. It stays fun. It stays frenetic, right? In a good way. Not like, fast, like, you're grabbing things or anything, but the energy stays high. And I think it makes the replay value tremendous. Game arc, I like that everything feels like it's giving you progress, no matter what you're doing. I have not seen anyone have a turn in which they roll something or somebody else gives them a roll, and you find yourself going, none of this is useful. There's always something you can do. I really like how smart it is that if you have a symbol that you cannot use, you can assign it to one of those two places on the extreme sides of your board, where eventually two of something becomes something else, right? That's great. That means I'm never wasting a moment. I'm always gaining money, or I'm racing, or I'm completing something, or gaining a special ability. There's this forward momentum that keeps the game engaging. And I think it should be that way, right? The theme goes hand in hand with that, and you feel like you're always getting better. The turns, eventually you're doing so many things on one. I'm getting 2 tokens, and I move the car, and I get some money, and I just crossed the threshold, so I get one of these loot cards, and ooh, look at that, I get to cash that in, and I just completed an objective, a heist. So I really enjoy that. Overall, this is a winner, I gotta say. I really am a fan of it. I think it's joyous, it's fun, silly, engaging, a great game to have as a conversation piece while you're playing as well. So big thumbs up from me. This is going to get, because of my 2 little minor things, I'm docking it a little bit, but overall, really recommend it. This is getting a strong 9 out of 10 from me. That is a seal of approval, a seal of excellence. 9 out of 10. And I just think it's wonderful. You should definitely pick this one up if you enjoy that idea of a dice-driven game. If you enjoy something kind of like space-based, right? This is similar to that in many ways. But I find this to be more grounded, more fun first, right? Bad Company. Fantastic game, everybody. Check it out. My name is Zee Garcia. I'll see you on the next one.